Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Talk on the Block. For today is the first day of a brand new month, the month of July 2026, and we welcome you to Talk on the Block. My name, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, sitting in for Matt Peltier. We'll be back next week, of course. Let me thank you for joining us this afternoon, wherever it is that you may be listening from, whether it's within Dominica or outside. You know that there's scores of you listening in from the United States of America, from Africa, from Asia, all across the Caribbean islands. Welcome. Of course, if it's happening on the block, we're talking about it right here on the big station. And this afternoon, we are delighted to have in studio Miss Juliette Shillingford, the United Workers' Party candidate for the Roseau Central Constituency. She's already there waiting quietly in the studio. We're very happy to have her with us this afternoon. We'll be talking about current issues here in Dominica, talking about the city of Roseau, and everything that goes with that. So keep it locked, and we will be talking in just a little bit. But before we do, let me just say a very happy birthday to Ma Lucille. I meant to say it since last week. She turned to be 100 last week. Another centenarian in the village of Grandfort, my neighbor. So I have two neighbors of mine, two of my closest neighbors, both of them alive over 100 years. And it's really a great thing. So Malusin, better known as Ma Ford or Vit Poise, as we call her locally, celebrated 100 years, still full of life and vigor. We give thanks for that. And of course, the other centenarian who is going on 102 right now is Matthew Finn, my immediate neighbor. Good afternoon to you both, enjoying the wonderful, wonderful fresh air there in Grandfort. Of course, Grandfort has produced quite a lot of persons who made it through 100. In fact, Malusin became I believe, the 18th centenarian in the community since we started keeping check a few years ago. So it means that there is some really great air up there that they are breathing and food that they're eating to make the centuries. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be live in studio with Ms. Shillingford as we discuss the Roseau Central Constituency.
We are in the hurricane season. Stay informed by tuning in to Q95 FM radio for updates on the storm's path and any evacuation orders. Knowledge is power during a hurricane.
I have a surprise from mosquito road and flies, but makes all of them die.
Don't bother with the long chat, Bob tell you why. Bob makes all of them die. Times are hard, but you've got to include Bob on your grocery list to protect you and your family against all flying and crawling insects, especially dengue mosquitoes. Bob's powerful formula kills insects fast. Bob is best on pets. Bob makes all of them die. Get serious, get Bob. Bob, make all of them die. Madam Boboy Madi, Laukazi, Idi Kote Brights and Company. Yele Rice and Company. The only company I know with Brights was cooking water and back and neck. Now in the last valley short, I said Brights. In the old the plus nefla where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open Nipu gas peel agent. They program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering, aluminum, that can better withstand the elements. You have in an easy way. So no leaking after a while. And so much more. Rice and Company, Liat by 8 Bank, close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone is 617-2468.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We're ready.
We are ready.
Just said, we are ready. The season of big matches and big moments. Watch the World Cup live on Digital Plus TV. The front row seat to every match, every moment. Digital Plus TV, bringing you closer to the game. Tio Kubule, c'est ça nous cabouet. Tio Kubule, c'est ça nous netouet. Ele Kubule, nous cacher les forces. Tellement Kubule, parler à mi encore. Bacalache, bacalache, bacalache. Tio nous aime Kubule. Bacalache, bacalache, bacalache. Tio nous aime Kubule. Bacalache, 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 bacalache. No me cubule. Bacalache. 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 No me cubule. Drink responsibly.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to Talk on the Block. And we have with us in studio Miss Juliette. Shillingford, Juliette, good afternoon to you.
I'm happy to be here, happy for the opportunity to speak with the wider public. And yeah, so
All right.
feeling blessed.
Yes, so it's certainly good to have you. And we are thankful that you're able to join us here this afternoon. Juliet, welcome to the world of politics. You see, you've decided to, as it were, throw your hat in the ring, as we say. Just talk to us a little bit about your motivation. You know, what made you decide to get into this?
Well, I am solution oriented by nature, and after a while, you get fed up, so to speak, of just listening to the complaints and like the problems and spending all our energy focus on what should be done and is not being done. So I just decided that I need to make a difference, at least put myself in the ring to make a difference and bring forward solutions as opposed to just spending our time complaining about the problems that we have.
All right, and you decided in that process to join with the United Workers' Party and to be the candidate for the Roseau Central Constituency. Tell us a little bit about Roseau and how you find it and and also part of that motivation that made you want to put yourself up to the people of that constituency.
Well, I am from Roseau Central. I grew up in Roseau Central. I actually lived there right up into my 30s. When I moved out of Roseau Central, it was because they had started digging up the roads to put down the water lines for the Wasco. in the early 2000s, and I had a child that is asthmatic and allergic to dust, and I just thought it was not necessary for me to stay there. But I very much remain, it very much remains my home. I come back to it on a regular basis, almost daily, weekly, and that is why it is really my constituency and is where my heart and soul is. I decided to join the United Workers' Party because it's, it's gave me the opportunity. It brings change to Dominica. I think after 25 years under the Labour Party, we need fresh ideas, a fresh vision, and for me, that was the only option.
Excellent. Now, as a individual who was born and raised in the Roseau Central constituency, how does it make you feel over the years to see the failure of this government, as it were, to really bring that development to Roseau? We've heard on several occasions that money has been obtained to beautify Roseau. We have been hearing talk about the state of the art city, but the complaints just keep piling up. The city is dirty, the gutters overrun, the rats are in the city. How do you feel as a citizen and as a constituent? That having grown up in Roseau and you've not seen that material change that was promised.
Okay, so it's very evident that Roseau Central has been neglected. And when I look at Roseau Central, I look at it not just as a citizen and a daughter of the city, but I look at it also as an urban planner. That is my background, my experience, and so I have the privilege of having two perspectives when I look at Roseau Central. As I walk around the city and I meet people and I interact with people, because I'm very much grassroots oriented. I rather meet with the people one-on-one than on the platform. As I meet with them, one of the primary problems is there's no economy, the lack of a local economy, and the frustrated young people that don't see the opportunity, and for entrepreneurship, small businesses, the vendors on the sidewalks, they're coming into Roseau right now in their vehicles. The vehicles are serving as their shops, as their shop front, and there's something definitely wrong if that's what people must resort to. So I'm listening. I'm in the process of listening to the issues from the people, understanding what is important to them, and then with the mind of a planner, I'm able to process it and see how we can move forward with solutions. So I feel I have an opportunity there to an advantage, so to speak, to move Roseau Central forward.
Yeah, and something that people talk about a lot, as you made mention of it as well, is the fact that the local entrepreneurs, the local businesses appear to have been forced onto the sidewalks of Roseau. And you have this it's a kind of a mess where you have some of those shops located on the sidewalks. In addition to that, you have vehicles that park on the sidewalks. So even walking in town, you find people started having to walk in the roads and so on. It seems to me to be a city that is very disorganized, right? And needs some kind of structure.
So it's not working as it ought to as a city. There's definitely shortcomings with the functionality. It's not just in the vendors on the streets, but remember, during the tourist season, we have tents on the bayfront, and that is in itself a problem. I noticed last week the tents were brought down, and suddenly we reappreciate the fact that we are a coastal city, because all that is being blocked off when the only solution that has been presented is to put temporary tents on the bayfront to host the vendors, and that is something I think that we ought to go past. We ought to have better solutions to tap the tourist market that comes in on the cruise ship. So those are some of the solutions that I'm fleshing out. I haven't given consideration to the issues that I am faced with as I talk to people and I experience it myself.
Mm-hmm. And in talking to these people, you've had a chance to talk to many of those vendors. I think all of the vendors that are now occupying the tents right there, close to the cruise ship booth. What are they telling you? What are they telling you in terms of their frustrations, or what would they like to see in this, in terms of the arrangements that are currently in place for them?
Okay, so there was a split. There were a few that were clearly, I'm so grateful. I'm so very grateful to have this space. And they were just not keen to consider or even think or dare to think of another solution. And then there are those that definitely considered it a temporary solution, and they would want to see something more permanent arranged to facilitate their trade. So there was a definite split. Take it whatever way you want, but yeah, definitely those that were just like, I'm so thankful, without thinking what more could they benefit from.
Now, the Roseau Central seat has been won in the past by the United Workers' Party. It was won both by Mr. Prevost as well as by Joseph Isaac when he contested as a member. What can you tell the Roseau constituents as you present yourself to them in terms of why they should look at you as the candidate for the Roseau Central constituency?
Well, one of the questions I asked them is, have you seen any change in Roseau in the last 25 years? Like, tell me, what have you seen? What more do you think we ought to benefit from? What more do you think we deserve? And that's one of the first questions I asked them. And usually, to be quite honest, it's a challenging one for them. People are not really seeing it. Take the roads and the sidewalks, for instance. I know because I worked on that project in the late 90s, and it has been on the table forever. I know that we had money available to us in perhaps around 2008, 2009, in that era there, to do the roads and sidewalks, and we did not see it. The government did not see it as a priority. And even though they were advised that when the roads and sidewalks, when the city is more walkable, definitely the small businesses would benefit from that. That just wasn't a priority for them. And so it's 3 decades almost that the roads and sidewalks in Roseau ought to be in better shape, and we have not benefited.
And also, as you talked about the roads and the sidewalks, which is an obvious eyesore,
very obvious,
and it's something that is really, really painful to see. And we talked about the parking and all the rest of it. What about the traffic situation in Roseau? How do you see, Juliette Shillingford bring in some changes to what exists now?
Okay, so one of the problems we have in the city is a lot of the potential parking spaces, because people come into Roseau to shop, to buy things, to interact, whether on a personal basis or for business, whatever. People are coming into the city every day, but a lot of the parking spaces are occupied by the buses, and another set of the parking spaces are occupied by people that come and they stay for 8 hours because they come into work. And so the people that are coming for short stays have to be driving round and round and round the city looking for parking. And that in itself creates congestion and traffic. So way back, there's been talk for 2 decades, basically, of identifying bus terminals where the buses from the north, the buses on the south would have a place to go. And from there, you'd have a shuttle around the city, which would be free of charge, in my opinion, to take people around the city. So the buses would stay on the outskirts and the people would come in on shuttles. So that's basically one of the suggestions. One of the areas that was earmarked for that long ago was we remember where Public Works used to be.
Yes.
That was considered an area that could possibly put a bus terminal. I mean, that's not necessarily the only solution to put there, but at least it was considered. And that land, I do not believe, belongs to the government anymore. When the area on High Street was acquired, where the Dominica Club was, because now government owns that entire strip of land along High Street, north of High Street. It's now completely owned by government. One of the ideas that went into justifying that purchase was a spot to to host the buses coming from the south. But that project would have to be developed. That has not been done. That land remains just underutilized, prime land, underutilized. For what reason, I do not know. So there are lots of solutions. I mean, I come with the experience and the knowledge of what can be done, but I'm just flabbergasted that all these years we have not taken on Roseau as a priority. It's unbelievable. We are the capital of the country, and people, if they can avoid Roseau, will avoid Roseau for many reasons beyond traffic. That's really why I'm here, because it's time to have solutions. It's time to implement the solutions and move Roseau Central forward, which is my tagline, actually, because that's how I feel. We just have to move it forward.
Move Roseau forward.
We've been stagnant for way too long, and it's unfortunate, and the people deserve a representation, better representation.
Indeed, and talking about the people and their representation, you've had a chance over the past few weeks, I'm sure, to talk to the people, go to their homes and so on. What are some of the issues? What are some of the things that you're hearing them complaining the most about as you reach out to them in terms of the daily lives, in terms of the way the country is moving? What is it? What are the main concerns and complaints that you're hearing from the people of Roseau?
Okay, so mostly really it's lack of jobs, no economy, and that's mostly the issue. The roads and sidewalks are an issue, and the fact that we have so many restaurants that do not have proper grease traps, etc., causing smelly side gutters and blocked drains, and that's an issue that really ought to be addressed. But one of the issues that one of my team members has brought up, and even this morning they reminded me that that's an issue to them, is that we don't have a health center, a primary health center in Roseau Central anymore. It used to be in the botanical gardens, but I believe it's 4 years now that is no longer functional. And so that means the Roseau Central people are being compromised. They have to either go south, or they have to go to Roseau North, or they have to go into the hospital casualty department. And the hospital is intended for secondary care, not primary care. So it's an issue for them, like, why don't we have a health center? It is, again, the capital, the very center of the capital. So these are shortcomings that they have highlighted,
and there used to be a health center no longer operates. The one in the botanical gardens, it's no longer functions.
Apparently not.
Wow.
Well, when I say apparently not, it isn't.
It does not function.
Yes,
Wow.
It doesn't function. So it's an issue, and we know what effect it has when too many people wanting just basic primary care have to go to the hospital.
Exactly.
And then they have to find their way. Some of them already are in a compromised situation in terms of walking or getting transport to go, and they have to go either to the Roseau South area or the Roseau North. So definitely that has been one of the things that have been highlighted. I mean, I can go on, but we may want to pause on that a little bit.
Yes.
The fact that they do not have a sports field like before. They had the Windsor Park, but that was taken up for the stadium, and of course there's controlled access. That's an issue to many. The fact that where do they go to play sports and that kind of thing. I mean, there's stuff on education, there's health, we spoke on the public infrastructure, we spoke about the economics, the lack of opportunity, the jobs. There's so much that we can talk about Roseau Central.
And we have someone on the line. We're going to open the lines as well. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk on the Block.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, I was intending to just listen, but as Juliette mentioned about the health center, what comes to mind is we had a health center where babies were actually born. My son was born in a health center right there in Roseau, All Saints University in 1984. And look at where we are today, where we haven't got a health center in Roseau. And it just hit me when she mentioned that, because this is our reality. So that means we have gone back. And even to do with the whole Roseau reinstatement program, why that wasn't a priority? There was another chance where Roseau could get an upliftment during the time we were supposed to have gotten that Test cricket match. Even that, the government, I think there was some talk about the lights in the stadium, but more than that, There was supposed to be a whole enhancement taking place in that area on that road, covering up that big drain and fixing up the stadium and fixing up Portsmouth and Park, putting a big screen television there. Just doing so much upgrade, and these guys never took that on board. And it just went like a talk where, oh, the stadium didn't have lights, that's why we could not host the cricket matches. But it was much more than that. They had to spend money to upgrade the city because you have so many people coming from Europe and the United States and other parts of the world. So you have to enhance the place for that kind of activity, and they refused to enhance the place, so they let it look like it was just lights that didn't let us get that much. But it was a lot they had to do that they just did not do, and it had to do with the upliftment of Roseau also. So you just prompt me to call when you mentioned just the health center situation, because even when I just go to the convent prep side of the back of that building in Garden, you see vine growing over the building. And it's appalling to see that in this day and age, knowing that we have a health center where people are giving birth to their children. Anyway, all else.
All right, caller. Thank you. Thank you for that interjection. Thank you very much. We'll have Juliette respond in a while, but let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. You're on Talk on the Block. Hello, good afternoon. All right, let's try this other number. Good afternoon. You're on Talk on the Block.
Okay, Juliette. They call you not Juliette, but I call you not Juliette.
Why you ever change your name?
They call me Julie too.
Julie. Oh, call her Julie. Call her Julie.
No, I call you not Juliette, man.
Okay, once it works for you.
Don't be rude, okay? Don't be rude.
Yeah.
It's a little chick I used to spy and admire all the time. You know? But I used to always look at her like a chick star, you know? A chick star, you know? Yeah. And she always have that roots tendency, you know? So it's like we have a little competition too. You understand? She more in the business than Mary in itself. You understand? Mary says a ghetto woman, you know. People say what they want Mary, so follow the ghetto people. But Melo, from since Melo know herself is ghetto. So don't let her refer. But we have this real ghetto woman now with common sense and education. You understand? Because you can afford your education, you not mix up with the common sense. You blow it out. You don't know where at all. And that is what is happening, you know, in the country now. A lot of educated people, but they're not bringing in the common sense into it. So everything will make sense. That woman can make a great change, my brother. You understand? And I wanted to tell people which one of the legends that was her father is. You understand? Because that man was a classic man in himself. No nonsense policy. Always on his own mission. You you finish it. No long topic on the side of you. When he's saying short, you know he's saying short. And I just admire that man from a youth man passing King of the Bishop on my little roller skate. And I was in my upstairs in the place. University would make a transport and this kind of thing. I said, no, come back up, you know. But it's a very lady, let me tell you something. I know you can do it. You have plan and planning in your head. Don't don't know about you. See how you just come out there now. You have to make them one know about you. You have the touch. You can do it. You have the education. You could tell them people you work with the government. Let them know you work with the government. Let them know that. Let them know you are giving the government ideas on things to do and haven't been done. You understand? Let them know all that. You understand? Something which I will know all that. You understand what I mean? So when you're explaining yourself, explain yourself for the ghetto youth, the educated, everybody to know. Because you see that election there is the last election in Dominica. You know. Do or die or get out of it. When I say get out of it, everybody, according to how that election goes, everybody gets out of Dominica. Yes, because it won't be Dominican place again. The best pieces of land that we have is the foreigners that own it. You can be a prime minister, you can be the president in a residence, and you let that happen in your country, and the children go. Yes, when the children, ma'am, I don't want to stay too long. You are there for a purpose. Explain yourself to the people. If the people fail to recognize what they are hearing and what they will be getting and what they already passed for and feel, my brother, woe be unto us. I put in myself, woe be unto us. But please, I don't want to go back where I escaped from. So I rather work like a donkey. Okay? Bye-bye.
All
Good
right.
program, and you have a good team. Dominicans, it's a good dream team. Forget about only patam pim patam pam pam pam. They haven't got no kind of a romance you. They have look back money in your pocket. Remember when people was building the houses, everybody was getting jobs. Weekend was weekend and fortnight was fortnight. They say workers got to write two. But it's not so. Food was on your table. It come back again. Look it. Papa, good morning, Mr. Scary. Love you. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Quite an endorsement there from this gentleman. And, but he talked about your work. Tell us a little bit about what you did in terms of your employment and engagement with the Dominican government.
Well, basically, I joined the public service in 1993, and at the physical planning division, I was physical planner. And there, about 2000, I became chief physical planner, and I worked in that position until 2006, when I resigned from the position because I wanted to pursue private sector. I'm an entrepreneur at heart as well, so I wanted to take on a private project. After that, I worked very well with Mr. Austri. He was my minister at that time, and he was like Mrs. Tung. I was married to Robert Tung. People may not know that, but I was. And he said, Mrs. Tung, you cannot leave me. And then thereafter, he made me the chairman of the Planning Authority, so I could continue to guide policy and the work that the physical planning does. And I stayed in that role until, again, I resigned in 2006 after Tropical Storm Erica, because as a private business person, I was hard hit by Erica. So I just, was, when you shed what you do not need to focus on what's important. So that's my background. I'm a trained physical and urban planner. And here I am today.
Today, offering yourself.
But the caller made an interesting point, and it struck me because I made that comment about a day or two ago, and thank him. I want to thank him as well for his endorsement about being grassroots. And people always it's talk now. The UWP party, we don't necessarily present ourselves with all the glam that the Labour Party does, and for me, what's important is that we're with the people. We are grassroots. We'll put up our tent on the side of the road and we'll talk to you, we'll meet with you, we'll discuss with you. We're not above you, we are with you. And that is a very important element, that's a feature of the party for me, because I am grassroots. I work with the people. When I was chief planner, I'll tell you, I had a fancy office, but I had a desk in the general room, and that's where I spent my day, with the people, with the team. I had my desk with them. That's where I stayed. And if a person came and wanted to speak with me privately, or I had meetings, so I would go into that private office. So I'm very much a team person by nature. That's just who I am.
Caller, thank you for your patience. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, and good afternoon to Ms. Juliette Shillingford. This is Glen West Coffee here. And Doc, let me just say to Dominica that Roseau Central is very proud to have Juliette Shillingford as the current caretaker candidate for the United Workers' Party. This is someone who can relate with the ordinary person and ordinary people, and she can understand their plight, and she will work to at least alleviate their plight from that experience that we have of poverty. She's well measured. I look at her, she's a well measured person, well articulate, brilliant, and ready to serve. So, you see, the overwhelming support that I witnessed before my eyes shows that Juliette is ready to be well received by the constituents of Roseau Central. And I know that she has made the best choice, and she's the best choice for Roseau Central. Doc, like you, I think we are very proud to have you as the leader of the United Workers' Party. You have worked all over the globe. You are termed, and everyone knows that you are a world-renowned economist. We have no objection to you being, deployed around the world, doing missions of restoring economies around the world, and that if you can do it for millions of persons, you can do it for us here in Dominica. And so we are very proud of you. And I'm saying today that Dominica doesn't need a good politician. Dominica needs a manager, an economic manager, and you are well placed to take over this mantle of this country to ensure that you bring this country to a better place. So, Juliette, let me say to you that we are proud. Constituency Association of Roseau is very proud. It's very proud to have you as, representing Roseau Central, and we are going to give you the full support that is required. And I know that the people are already excited about this change. They're excited to move forward. And you coming forward is a breath of fresh air for the people. And so we are very, very, very elated to be in your association. So let me just say to you that not just do have to wish you well. We know that you are going to do well, but we are going to make it happen. We are going to work as hard as ever before to ensure that it happens. So let me just applaud you for coming forward. And all of the other candidates who have put themselves forward for the United Workers' Party. We are ready to roll. The United Workers' Party is there for change. And we have to say, keep up the good work, continue to do what you're doing. I'm hearing a lot of good reviews based on what you have been doing on the ground. And just before my very eyes, we have been walking the ground with you. And I'm telling you, it's just amazing. People love you. People are embracing you. And they just love the work that you do and you intend to do for Dominica and for Roseau particularly, because we should be called the capital city envy of the Caribbean. We have been called so by words, but in actuality, when you look at the Roseau, it's nothing. So we rely on you, we depend on you to bring that transformation that is in it for Roseau. So thank you very much for coming forward. You are the best choice for now. Have a great day, and Doc, keep up the good work that you continue to do for Dominica.
All right. Thank you very much, Glenroy. So coffee, it's great. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tom.
Yes,
man, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, good. I want to call to make a point, because I've been listening. Your radio station is hard to get to here lately from overseas. But I just want to call and to congratulate that young lady you picked to be one of your people running to save the country. And I want to make a note of what the cabaret man just said. And I didn't miss it, but I think a lot of people must understand it. He said this will be the last election if the UWP don't win. Or let's put it this way, another way. If we don't get this rogue government out of office. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying that, these guys know the amount of nonsense they have done and unlawfulness in office. And if they get away with this election, they already have most of the people in the cabinet. They have the Speaker of the House in their pocket. They have the President in their pocket. They will run amok on the laws. There will be no constitution, just like he said before. No constitution, no law, no whatever. Nothing gonna make him not be able to run. This time, it will really show you what the gentleman is made of, because he will be trying to escape responsibility for all the wrongdoing. And to the young lady, I did notice we pointed her out as grassroots. And a lot of times, grassroots movement is that's what you need, because the people on the ground, the grassroots people are who the people gravitate to. And these are the people that's going to make a difference with this election, with you, people like this young lady, and many others. And I wanted to say before, from last week, when I heard Mark mention that the young lady that you all were talking to went with the Labour Party. My brother, let me say something to you. It was a good thing happened that you all did not get that young lady. I don't know a period. But I'm telling you, people say God works in this serious way. And that was one of them times. I don't need to go into explain it. But that lady would have the ideology that I hear people speak that she had, to go in bed with a bunch of immoral people, with people with no morality. And you're going to go and turn your back on the people. If the people say what they really say about her, I don't believe it. She's just go along to get along. If it's a payday or whatever, I don't know. I'm not judging her, but it's a blessing in disguise that you didn't get to speak up because she will be a problem later. And she liable to do the same thing like Judy Pfizer, Judah. Because I said before on the radio, Dominica has too many traitors. And I want to see a set of people who really believe in the country, believe people like you, Linton, the young lady you have in studio, people who would like to see the country move forward. My brother, I wish you all the best of luck. You know, I've always made my contribution, and I heard so give you a big up. If you can do it for the rest of the world, sure enough, you can do it for Dominica. Good afternoon.
Right, caller. Thank you very much for that. And Juliette, one of the things that, and in case you're just joining us, we're talking to Ms. Juliette Shillingford, who is the candidate for of the United Workers' Party in the Roseau Central Constituency, and we're discussing the issues of the constituency. And one of the issues I would like you to kind of speak to, and one that is as very obvious in Roseau, is the vagrancy issue. The number of young men, in particular. We understand that there is a substantial amount of drug dealing, and somebody's asking, as the PAL rep, how would you deal with this issue of the vagrancy and apparent drug dealing that goes on as part of that problem?
So because one of the first things I did was to have a walk around Roseau for mental health. That's a serious problem, and it seems to be getting worse. And it's affecting all walks of life, so to speak. It's not just mental illness, but it's also a problem with drug addiction. So they end up that way because of their drug addiction problems. I mean, why do we not have a drug rehabilitation home in Dominica, a place in Dominica to help these people? A lot of people, if they can't afford it, they have to send their children, if they can afford it, that is, to St. Lucia. They have to send them to Trinidad. They have to send them to Barbados, and not everyone has that privilege. So the solution is so obvious that we have not done it is baffling. That's what I really have to say on that, because having these people, you ever walk down the street in Roseau and there's somebody walking, obviously a victim walking towards you, and you cross the street just to avoid it. I mean, that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to feel safe walking on the streets of Roseau at all times and not have to be looking over your back to see if a vagrant is following you. And I'm not speaking down on them. I'm just saying that they need help, and there's a responsibility that government has to provide the facilities and the services to support them in their need.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon to you.
Well, brother man, I was listening and what I used to when we start talking about visuals, I really understand. Because visuals in the city is a simple thing. It's not 100 of them. It's not 40 of them. It's about 6 to 10 of them. No. We have to blame the Minister of Security, Mr. Blackmore, wherever you be. Where are you, Mr. Blackmore? I never seen you in Roseau. All what had happening, I never seen you making around in Roseau. The only thing I really seen in Roseau is the drug squad. You understand? And which is nonsense. You have residents walking with knives in their hand, cutlass in their hand. Anybody can get injured. You understand? I stuck with them, and tell them what I can get myself in a little problem by fresh market people, and I tell them I don't to eat and whatever. And with that begin the victim, you understand? But I have to defend myself of not reacting. Because the Satan working in every way. So let me call on the Prime Minister, Mr. Scary, that you can fix everything. You know, let me come on mail, sir. When we talk about vagrancy in the city, you all that should be securing people in the city is not what the woman going to do when she come what she will do about vagrancy in the city. So don't ask the woman that kind of thing. That is not for her. That is not for her. Ask her. what she going to do, how she going to fix it, so when she come, what she will do, where she will put whatever. Them kind of a thing. You understand? Because she has the brain for that, she can sit down for that. But to ask about vagrants should be taken care of. And in closing, Mr. Scary, Mr. Blackmore, visit up in the hospital by the psychiatric unit. You have enough space there. If I was in the jail as a skill man, putting blocks and whatever, take me out, bring me to the hospital. You have Chinese, you have this, you have that. Put a piece on the hospital. When people come there, you're telling people they don't have space, so you cannot take the vagrants on the road. You're giving them medicine and you're sending them back on the road, the same road, to take the same drug with the medicine in their system for 1 month. Come on, man. Maybe to get another topic, I'm not controlling all the things, but get another topic. I have to call on that way on that, man. It's the government that doing that. You understand? The government.
All right, caller. Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller, for that. We appreciate your comment. Let's go back to the telephone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thompson Fountain.
Yes, good afternoon.
And good afternoon to Ms. Juliette Shillingford.
Good afternoon.
I think great things are happening in Roseau Central and in Dominica. And I want to first of all endorse the candidature of Ms. Juliette Shillingford as the UWP's candidate for Roseau Central. I want to really compliment and congratulate her for making a decision to put herself forward in the honor of serving her people. Because the political climate in Dominica has become so hostile to the extent that good people who are well-meaning, qualified, experienced, sometimes shy away from that because they do not want themselves to be embroiled and their family to be embroiled in the type of hostility that is involved in our politics today. So I really want to compliment her, and I look at her as a woman of strength and fortitude, but more so I see her as somebody who has a lot of compassion. My interaction with her so far have indicated to me that she's one who consults with people, and her approach to things is a down-up approach as opposed to a top-down approach. She told me that in her going around to meet with the constituents of Roseau Central, she wants to first of all listen to what type of Roseau they want. And not because she's a development planner, she will come from on top and tell her, this is what I think, this is what I think. She is consulting on a daily basis with the people of Roseau Central. What type of Roseau would you like? One or two of the elderly people told her that they would like to see the health center back in Roseau. It's more accessible and easy and closer to their homes. And she took that on board as one of her platforms. And so that approach to me is how we have to go about things. Because a lot of times people think because they qualified and experienced in a particular field that they can tell people what their needs are. It is always better to listen to the needs of the people. One of the things I want to mention quickly is the whole question of cause and effect. Growing up in Roseau, all through the 80s, 90s, we had a Windsor Park that was the mecca of sports and also the mecca of social gathering after work, where people would come and watch football matches. But even after the football matches, as community, we would stay, we would talk about the game, we would talk about several other things. The Windsor Park Stadium was built. And a city like Roseau, that are over 6 football teams in Roseau. You had Dame Central, you had Kensborough United, you had Kens United, you had Green Isles, and you just named them. Playing football in Roseau, keeping our young men occupied, and giving them the kind of discipline that comes with sports, giving them the type of way to resolve conflicts. You get all that from sports. And so the absence of a playing field in the capital city of Roseau has been a great disservice to the young men of Roseau over the last 25, 26 years. And when you hear people saying about boys on the block, really,
Where can they go and take a little free or play a little soccer, a little small goal like they did? We have basketball, several teams. We have several teams. Roseau was a proud sporting capital, and that has disappeared. I want to encourage Ms. Shillingford to ensure that access to sporting facilities for our young people becomes a priority. One of the best advertisers for Dominica today is a sporting person by the name of Fia Lafort, who won the Olympic medal, the gold medal, and has given Dominica a certain amount of exposure in the world. Look, last week, she broke the national record and became the 9th person in the world, the 9th longest jump in the world. And so we must understand that there is value in investing in sports and not close our stadiums away from our sport, not run after the young men who wants to be involved in athletics from the gardens when they want to do a little practice and so on. That's where they have to practice. We've been promised, and no delivery. This is not the season for promises. This is a season for report card. And when we look at the report card for Roseau Central for 26 years of this government, we will give them a big S, a big field. And we are depending on you, Ms. Shillingford, to correct the wrong of this government in Roseau Central. Thank you, and great program.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, caller. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a lot more with Miss Juliette Shillingford, the United Workers' Party candidate for the Roseau Central constituency. We'll take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Trade introduces our newest line of lubricants, Valvoline, America's first branded motor oil. Valvoline has been formulating and improving motor oil longer than any other brand. From the world's first racing oil to the world's first synthetic blend, Valvoline has been trusted in engines around the world for over 150 years. Make the switch today. Choose Valvoline, the original motor oil. At Auto Trade, we only recommend the best in quality because at Auto Trade, it's more than a vehicle. It's a relationship. Valvoline lubricants, now distributed by Auto Trade. Hey, what's up, digital family? Let me ask you something. Ever notice how paying a bill always feels harder than it should? Passwords, logins, trips to the store, all that time and effort? Yeah, nobody has time for that. Sweet and simple. Introducing SwiftPay, the fast and secure way to pay your digital bill online in 3 easy steps. And the best part, you don't have to log in. No app to download, just straight business. Anybody can use it. Once you have your account number, you're good to go. Here's how it works. Step 1, enter your account number. Step 2, add your contact information to get your receipt. Step 3, enter your card details and submit. And just like that, payment done. Quick, faster than a Swift Sport on a highway. Now you might be wondering, is it safe though? Of course, this is Major Mistake approved. SwiftPay uses the same secure system as the My Digital app and meets international PCI security standards. That means your information is fully protected, no funny business. Pay with Visa, MasterCard or American Express, credit or debit, easy. Once you're done, you'll get a success page. That's your official receipt. Download it, save it, or get a copy by email or SMS. Just remember, make sure you enter the correct account number because your payment goes exactly where you send it. And no, SwiftPay isn't replacing the My Digital app. The app is still there for full account control. SwiftPay is just for those moments when you want fast, no login, no hassle payment. So next time your bill is due, don't stress. Go online, use SwiftPay. 3 steps, no login, instant payment. Simple, secure, swift. That's SwiftPay for you.
Your home? Visit Universal Elegance today, where comfort meets style. Whether you're looking to uplift your living room, bedroom, kitchen, or bathroom, we've got all the perfect pieces to transform your space. From cozy sofas, elegant dining sets, home electronics, to home appliances. But that's not all. We've got a lot of amazing deals and prices for you as well. Hurry in today at Universal Elegance. Call us at 448-5100 or visit our appliance department at 45 Great George Street, opposite the Austin's University, or our homes department next to the Green Supermarket. Also, you can shop online at www.buymuslims.com. Come in, your dream room awaits you.
Universal elegance.
Locally born, locally grown.
Place to shop. A home had for many years in London. Goldwyn is now retired and back living in Dominica enjoying his pension. He too shook a smile so we can see the gold teeth and too shook a yarn. I met him coming out of Flosses with the help of some staff carrying different foods, drinks, and meats to his vehicle. Myself too fast to go and ask the man what's up. Is their story start? And when we finish to have our words, so the Kadimo de San Dominic Puffini la hamwe. I said, Goldwyn, speak in English, don't force it. Then he said, I shop with intelligence, yeah? At Flosses, you get the most reasonable prices. Quarter bag flour, rice, sugar, milk, beers, soft drinks, water, rum, and so much more. Prices and quantities to fit your needs, mate. Mama, they come on, because you just come down and want to tell me what I know about Flosses already. That's where I shop. It's not you alone that want to save money but still get the quality goods. That's right. And if you're listening to this ad, go and check out Flosses for yourself. Next to the Roseau Market, you can't miss it.
Now opened on Sunday.
Big news! Dominica Fluid Center is now even closer to you with the opening of Fluid Center Express, conveniently located on Cork Street, right next to Fresh Market. Get all your home improvement essentials fast with everything from tools and paints to home decor and more. Plus, enjoy the same great service you know and trust. Now, just a quick stop in the city. Visit us today at Do It Center Express, your partner in home improvement. Now, closer than ever.
Ooh, oh, KFC. Ooh, oh, KFC. Looking for some place to go. Red variety meals for soul. KFC. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC. KFC. It's finger licking good.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Talk on the Block. It's just about 3 minutes gone now before the hour of 2 o'clock, and we are joined in studio this afternoon by Ms. Juliette Shillingford, who is the United Workers' Party candidate for the Roseau Central Constituency, discussing all of the plans and vision and so on for the city. Let's go to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Dr. Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon.
How are you guys? Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, so while I'm listening to Ms. Shillingford speak, some recent comments came to my mind, and that is of the utterance of individuals on political platforms, and they said that it's their constitutional right to assembly, it's their constitutional right for association, freedom of association, which is exactly correct. And so the reason I'm bringing that up, I've been hearing for the past few years, there's a lot of victimization going on in Dominica, because when people put themselves up for representing their constitutional right, they have been victimized. And I have not heard that yet been challenged, but it seems like it's only when you're in support of a one-party state. So I would like to say kudos to this lady for presenting herself, because the ultimate service of a citizen in the advancement of our democracy is to present themselves for public office in honesty, integrity, and to serve the people. And it seems like you have done that. And I keep hearing you saying that you worked for the government. No, you did not work for the government. Any government employee is an employee of the people because in our society, the government is of the people for the people. We are their bosses. So once you're working in a government agency, you're not working for a particular party, you're working for the people of Dominica. So your service has to be, and I think that's very critical because whenever we say that, we tend to make a distinction between public service and government service. I mean, these two are interchangeably but the same. And once you hear public service and government service, really and truly, you're working for the people of Dominica. I think that has been lost in our dialogue because the government seems to be the face or represented by one individual. And people sometimes mix that up. So I really want to say kudos to you. I'm not gonna. I think you've demonstrated your abilities for years. You have stated your qualification. People like you are much needed in our country. We talk about having educated people, having people going to college. I think with your background as a planner, that talent and gift, along with many others, should have been used for the planning and development of the city, which is so much needed right now. So I will like to implore to all the other civil servants and all the other talented people who have an affinity for a democratic process, a democratic society, who wants to defend our constitution, to step forward. Don't be afraid, because the constitution gives you the ultimate freedom to associate. It gives you the ultimate freedom to disagree with the people you have put to work for you, your employers, that is the government, and the ultimate service of the citizens. It should be a noble cause, is to stand up for democracy, not agreeing with what is happening, and understanding that the only constant in life is change. And to make that change, you have to get in the system, whether it's for government, opposition, or otherwise. So kudos to you, and let your heart not be troubled. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, and thank you for that call and for that intervention. You know, one of the things, Juliette, that an earlier caller spoke about is the fact that the young men, in particular, and the young sports people in Roseau Central have been denied the opportunity. He talked about having 5, 6 clubs, football clubs, but nowhere to play, nowhere to practice. How would you tackle that issue once you're part of the government?
Well, for sure, sports is important in the health and well-being of our citizens. So, for instance, you have the stadium. In front of the stadium is the forecourt. That's a bit of land that's there. That, to me, it's not to put that land for the public use would not interfere with the functionality of the sports stadium for more official events. So that is an opportunity to explore, like flipping that back for everyday public use, not needing a special pass to get in there to use it, but just being able to be accessed by our young people. Also, behind the grammar school, where the buildings are going up right now on the riverbank side, there ought to be enough space there to consider a sports field similar to what the Windsor Park was, incorporating that. And again, not tying it to the functioning of the school, but letting it be a space for the public to use casually. That's important. Then we move to the Botanical Gardens, which is another huge green space that we have in Roseau Central. It's just there. And so much could be done in that space. I have in the past put together a proposal. I'm not the only one that have done that. There are other organizations, NGOs that have proposed redevelopment plans for the gardens, but I did have the opportunity to put one together when I served as urban renewal consultant with Mr. Timothy, who's now passed. There was a plan to develop it in a way that young children could come and play, the young adults could come and exercise, having different features, integrating the community back into it. Because as a child, we would go there to play in the afternoon. The buses and not buses, trucks and so are not plowing through the space, making it unsafe for us to ride our bikes, whatever we wanted to do. Right now, it's a thoroughfare. It is people coming in to bypass Roseau, rush through the gardens and head south. and that shouldn't be. That should be a pedestrian area where the children are safe to play, and parents and adults are safe to come and exercise or do whatever they want to do. They used to have cricket in the gardens. To go on a Sunday afternoon, you'd watch people play. That's no longer happening. I'm not sure why the gardens is as it is, and why a more proactive stance is not taken to get it going. I mean, we invite tourists to come in there, and do we not see the type of parks they have in their country to bring them to the botanical gardens? It used to be much more of a botanical space than it is right now. There's so much that can be done in that space that we're not doing, and yeah, it's to our detriment.
Excellent. And of course, you're uniquely placed to deal with this given your experience. Let's go back to the telephones. All the lines are going. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Doc. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ms. Shillingford.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good Lord here. Let me just say, I like your idea of seeking solutions from the people. I think that is exactly the premise that we should be working on as politicians. I like your the boss, how you call it, what's it? I was thinking we could have, right here in New York, I mean, bikes have made a big difference in traffic. Just can ride for a couple of dollars, $2, $3, whatever. So I think that you could add to that. That's something that could be added to that idea of parking outside the city and coming in and those things. But one thing that I am concerned about is the gardens, and I heard you just talk about developmental plans for the botanical gardens. So you can get around that traffic. Have you thought about it as a urban planner? I mean that traffic in the gardens is the death of the gardens eventually. So I really think that's something we need to really look at if you have your plans for outdoor. Outside the city for parking. I think we can find a way to reduce some of this or have a certain set of hours where traffic is allowed and a certain set of hours where there's no traffic. There's community period times where kids can be safe. So it might be more a usage of less usage and not 24/7 that you can just be riding to this place. But
okay,
talk about that sport. Yeah. I heard you talk about that regional public works. I have an affinity for public works, but I really think we need to bring back public works, and Thompson, that is something that really needs to be done. We need to return public works. A lot of issues we have in Dominica from is because we don't have a public mechanical sector that can provide these services. All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that call. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thompson. Good afternoon, Ms. Shillingford. Ms. Shillingford, the first thing whenever you come there, you have to tackle the scent in Roseau. The scent. All the gutters, not one, not two, all about. I am a senior citizen. I worked with the government before. I am retired now. And I cannot go to town and shop and take a relaxing Roseau. I have to hustle. Forget what I have to buy and go back at my home because I cannot take this scent. I cannot have a mask in my nose all the time because the scent is really bad. All the gutters, the scents are bad. We have mayor, I can remember mayor we had in Bassett Street. I think you should remember that. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that mayor used to get the firemen, hose down Roseau, clean all the gutters clean. You could breathe in Roseau. And nothing like that is happening right now. You have to run away from Roseau. What kind of thing is that? I think you will do a better job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. And of course, one of the things, and I probably just want to expand a little bit more on making Roseau and its environs a green space. I think there is so much in that idea, that a city like ours in the nature isle can be more nature friendly. So I'm sure in your planning and so on, you're thinking of how we can have a city that is inviting more trees. I mean, imagine in the middle of a nature island, you barely have trees in the capital. The traffic, as we said, is a mess, and this last caller just talked about the open drains and the open sewage and so on, and gutters, as we call them, those drains on the side of the road. So there needs to be a serious transformation, if you like, of Roseau, right?
start it will start with the roads and sidewalk reinstatement, but it's not just any design. You have to design these things into the plan. You can design trees into your sidewalk space. You can design public bins for garbage disposal into your benches, into your design. Definitely, that can be done. So we don't just want any old imported plan to reinstate roads and sidewalks in Roseau. We want something that's designed with us in mind, the people who we represent, like what means a lot to us. And we are the nature isle. And so green has to be an important element, and the trees have to be integrated into the sidewalk space, for sure. There's also vertical gardens. So I look for green space in Roseau, and one of the few green spaces, well, there's a couple of them. One is my grandmother's house. There's a gate, the garden in front. There's another beautiful garden. I'm just thinking of what I can buy on Great Marlborough Street, behind the $3 store. That's a beautiful effort. So also the citizens can themselves do something like the building for Miss Charles. She has, it's like almost like a vertical garden, because you have hanging plants on these verandas. But the government, what can the government do to get the citizens? You have to participate in making Roseau a greener space, is to give them incentives, have competitions, have the various tax incentives, whatever. I mean, we have property tax in Roseau, right? So there are ways that there are things that the government can do to get the public to participate in making Roseau a greener space.
All right, let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, doctor, and your guest, Madam Shillingford.
Yes, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question, and I also have a little advice to give, if you permit me. I'll be extremely happy. My question is, I've been reading about you, Dr. Thompson Fountain, and you have done so much for other countries in the capacity of an economist. And not only too long, you were in Africa, where I can't recall the name of the country, Sudan, if I'm right.
Yes, correct.
And then, you performed there, where you stabilized things. And you have been experiencing a lot of negative feedbacks, even in your circles, that we don't want to talk about. We should just let it live, because you have sent out the olive branch, and I believe they have accepted it. Under your watch, I'd like to know how long, if you are elected today, how many months would it take under the UWP administration to see a drastic change in terms of the economy, money in people's pockets, and food on their table? You, as an economist, we know that our population is small, and we are aware of how many citizenship by investment passport that is all over the world, people that don't even know our country, people who know nothing about us. And then it's too much. I want to stay there because I want to give a little advice. I have a lot of respect for you, Mr. Fountain, because all what you went through and all the things these people have been saying about you, I see you in a different light. And I want the Almighty to bless you with humbleness, consciousness. Don't let power make you become arrogant and self-centered. Look for yourself. No one does not go through anything if they doesn't. If you are unable to maintain yourself, you will be unable to work effectively for your people. That is a little advice. Let me just finish there. The houses that was given to some of the underprivileged people by this administration, we know these houses are not belonging to the people who are occupying it. So, in other ways, if someone was given this house, this person dies, now immediately someone else has been picked from either community where this house is located and it's given to someone else. That is to say to you, even though you are living in there, that house is not yours. Okay. But what about having some of the young people who are occupying this house, assist them with the business sector of government, the government technocrats, to put cooperatives in place? For example, vetiver, the root of vetiver, is one of the most expensive commodities, and it produces the best perfume on the international market. That could be a cooperative by having the vetiver, converting the roots into oil, and find some positive market in places like Italy, where they do consume a lot of that type of perfume, and many other parts. In Europe, the Haitians used to do it in the Papadoc, and they used to benefit a large amount of money from the Americans because of that type of product. Now, the question that I ask, I'm going to end there. How long should Dominicans see if, when your government is in place, that they can see a change that would make each and everyone happy? My other advice to you, if a Labour Party comes to your government, a Labour Party supporter comes to your government, and he is in need or she's in need of a job, I am saying to you, don't do that. Don't discriminate. As long as the person is capable of doing the work, you don't bring them in your cabinet so they can sell out your what they should not sell out. But if they need to be employed by the government, I don't think they should be discriminated. It could be whatever party. Don't make that be a part of your culture, the UWP. Otherwise, the UWP will probably don't last for too long again. So be blessed with the positive things when the power is given to you, Dr. Fountain Fountain. And to all Dominicans, I am calling on you all to support the United Workers Party. And I'm expecting to see Dr. Thompson Fountain electing or identifying a leader from my village. There are many young intellectuals in Grand Bay who can represent Grand Bay, and I know you know that, Mr. Fountain, because your family, the Fountains came from Poseidon, they came from Martinique, then Poseidon, Bagatelle, Sisavan. So you are even ought to be related to me, and I heard a member of the party upstairs saying that you are related to him. So you are related to Reka. So please don't deceive us. I am with you in prayer, and I want to see Dominica change, because myself, I have been victimized, and I'm hurt, and I'm very, very hurt, and I'm with you 100%. And if I told you I elected and you go over in playing around, I will be the first person to ask you to resign. Thank you, Dr. Thompson Fountain, but make sure when you're elected, put your eyes on Grand Bay, because Grand Bay is dying slowly. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. We'll respond to that in a little bit. Well, let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Mr. Fountain, you said you're going to have no tolerance for corruption. You have a record of not tolerating corruption when you want to gas.
All right, caller. I can tell you again that we will have a zero corruption policy. That will be part of our government. But I wanted to go back to the previous caller who talked about, the way we deal with persons, the other party. We've made it very clear that a United Workers Party will be a party for all Dominicans. And I think that's one of the things that attracted you, Juliette, to the party was the idea there that everyone is welcome, that there'll be no discrimination against persons who do not support us. We believe very, very heavily in a merit-based system where people are rewarded for their hard work and so on. And as the caller said, the persons that have the skills, they will be the ones we're calling upon. So the first question is not which party you belong to, but it should be what you can do to help improve and move the country forward. And he also asked the very serious question as to how much time it will take to drastically change the country. We do have a plan, the 10 pillars to shared prosperity, that we have different phases. One of them, of course, is the agriculture sector. Most crops, a lot of crops that we grow in Dominica take between 6 to 9 months. So within a year, we can already begin to see a change in the agriculture sector. A couple of years ago, I planted some citrus fruits, and I'm eating oranges today. Just this morning I had some oranges from it, and it just took about 2.5 years. The tree is probably within the height of my waist, and it's already bearing. And it's bearing a lot of oranges. So we can transform this country agriculturally within a couple of years. And the essential oils industry, he talked about vetiver. We have all of those essential oils. We have the patchouli, we have the cannabis oil, we have the of course the bay oil. We have all of those different essential oils that we can have a very serious essential oils industry that can be developed very, very quickly. So, I just want to reassure the caller that is where we're headed, and that is the promise that we're making to the Dominican public. And we have persons like Juliette, who is here with us in studio, and as we continue our conversation with her about just seeing that transformation in the capital city of Roseau. I know the people of Roseau must be fed up with the fact that there's hardly any change. I must confess myself, Juliette, I don't spend much time in town. I want to get out as soon as when I live here, I just get out of town. If I don't have to come into town, I don't. It's just not appealing. And we need to change that, right?
Yeah, that's definite. So that's one of the things that one of my team persons I've been speaking with said they want Roseau to be a place that people want to go to. So to respond to how long will it take for us to see a change, I would think within the first 5 years. Definitely,
Absolutely.
you will see a new Dominica, you'll see a new capital city. So yeah, we just have to get in there.
Yes.
We just have to get that.
I mean that is key. That is
vote.
key. And I must say that the people of Dominica are inclined to support the United Workers' Party because we are focused on a vision for Dominica. We have a plan, and you as the lead in the Roseau Central Constituency definitely have a definite plan, for improving. And I like very much your idea at revisiting the space around the stadium, because we don't have a lot of spaces in town, right? But that is something that probably with some reconfiguration we can get the additional spaces for young people to play. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon to you. Caller, go ahead, please. I think you're listening to your radio. Can you hear me? Caller, okay. Caller, are you still with us? Sometimes they listen to their radio, to their device, and not to. Caller, are you still with us? All right, I guess not. Okay. So yeah, it is about providing that vision, for the community and so on. And what about the issue of parking in Roseau? I mean, that has been a big concern of many people. You cannot find parking spaces, or if there are parking spaces, it's obstructing the sidewalk. People park now just on the sidewalk, and suddenly I find myself having to walk on the street because I can't pass on the sidewalk. There's no space.
So for sure, that's why we have to revisit where most of the parking spaces are taken up by bus stops. So you park and somebody rushes to you, telling you that's a bus stop, that's a bus stop. So we have to revisit the bus service and where do we put these people to the central service of like where do we put them to park? Somebody even mentioned the idea where you can park in these services, in these the bus stop would have a space for regular people in their cars, and then they'll hop on a bus to take them into town. I just got a message here saying, don't forget, we can have electric buses moving around the city to reduce pollution. So there's so much we can do to have a greener, healthier city. But the parking problem, honestly, that will be resolved as soon as we deal with the buses. We need the buses coming into the town, but we have to organize a little better how we handle them. That's the first thing that will free up parking. There's also other things like parking meters. So if you have the parking meters, then people that park for 8 hours may not want that. They may want to park out of town and then hop on that nice little air-conditioned electric bus taking them to town.
Exactly.
That's just an option that I can
yes.
throw out there. So there's solutions. The way we are in Roseau right now, we don't have to be. You know, it's not necessary for us to be suffering through this experience. Roseau ought to be a model Caribbean city, and and that's where we want to go.
Excellent. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon to you. Hello, good afternoon. Go ahead, please. Hello, good afternoon. All right, this caller is not yet ready. When you are, you can always call us back. This is Talk on the Block. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a lot more with our guest for today, Ms. Juliette Shillingford, who is the United Workers' Party candidate for the Roseau Central Constituency. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Fuel your farm with premium animal feeds at Bloombox. We're excited to announce a major expansion to our lineup. Bloombox Farm and Garden Center is now your go-to supplier for high-quality animal feed. From poultry to livestock, we provide the specialized nutrition your animal needs to thrive. Our feed portfolio includes poultry solutions, swine care, small pet and livestock. Visit Bloombox in Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, or Bloombox Goodwill, 66 Federation Drive, Goodwill. Let's bloom together.
Fresh Market Pharmacy has expanded to customers with its new additional location at Best Price. 2 convenient locations on the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard and at Best Price Riverbank. Fresh Market Pharmacy provides over-the-counter medication, health and personal care, prescription drugs, and natural supplements. Our experienced pharmacists and technicians provide the best quality services. Call 225-6883, 255-6875. WhatsApp 316-0310. Your prescription bill just got lowered.
Hardware and home improvement, building supplies for you, kitchen appliances, even home decor too, lumber, lawn, all your garden supplies, plumbing, welding, electrical supplies. Visit Do It Center at the former J. Nassif Hardware location on Goodwill Road. Call us at 255-6890. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it Center.
Welcome back to Talk on the Block for this afternoon. We are talking to Ms. Juliette Shillingford, who is a designated candidate of the United Workers' Party for the Roseau Central Constituency. And Juliette, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Roseau Library. I mean, it was destroyed by the hurricane, I believe, Hurricane Maria, and we've seen over 8 years, nothing has been done, some fire there and so on. That has been a major part. I mean, I remember I have fond memories of the library as a young boy going to school, getting books there. In fact, there was one time I forgot I had one of the books, and they charged me, I think it was $2.12, and I had to sell a couple of bottles at Shillingford to be able to pay that back. But the library was so much a part of Roseau. And as you're talking about the library, I also want you to talk a little bit about the architectural preservation of the city, like the the historic buildings within Roseau. What are your plans for that? First, the library and also the preservation of those historical buildings in Dominica.
Okay, so it's unfortunate that no effort has been placed on restoring the public library. Modern and a library is more than just a space where people go to borrow books. It is really a space where you can like open up your whole mind to the world. You can have technology in there, you can have access to computers, you can have books, you can have after school programs within the library. It's so much more, because we know as children we would go there to borrow a book. But today we can do so much more in a library space. That's why we went for brownie meeting in the afternoons, and I'd love to see that restored. The last time I think the government spoke about this was in 2020. I think Shape brought it to their attention that is a building that ought to be restored. So it will have to be not just restored but expanded on, so that it can accommodate the modern day library facilities. So that's definitely something that would be on our agenda. But whilst we're on heritage and Shape, just to say that that building was donated around 1906 by the Carnegie Foundation in New York. And it's not something that we should just randomly destroy, because heritage is very much part of our city, and that there is an opportunity, if we protect our heritage in Roseau, that it can be a destination. It can be a place that people want to visit because of its heritage value, and much effort needs to be it needs to be recognized as an economic option, an economic opportunity, to advance the city. So yeah, there's cobblestone streets. There should be a designated heritage district. It could be a welcome zone. When people get off this cruise ship, they could come into the heritage area and walk around, have more pedestrian streets for that purpose. We could have wardens walking around that district, making sure the tourists are safe. We need to make Roseau a more welcoming city, and we could jump on the heritage value to make that happen.
Excellent. And also we have another pack very close to this the Pebbles pack and so on. Are you satisfied with the way it has been developed? Or
Well, definitely. I think the my granddaughter calls it the rainbow pack, but I don't think that's a very complimentary thing, because first of all, it does not reflect who we are as the nature island of the Caribbean. It's a plastic thing. I don't know what it is. It's a plastic thing that is there. The space is too small. It's just not been. That is not how I would want to see People's Park developed. I would want to see it as an oasis in the city, for people to come and have their lunch, sit down, maybe a water feature, something a little more, nature island vibe than it is right now. I would definitely develop an area in the botanical gardens for the children to have more space to safely run around without the roots of the trees getting involved in their activities and putting them at risk. So it's too small a space to dedicate for the scale and the style of playground that has been sent there. So those are little things that we can do very quickly to make to allow that kind of facility for our children.
all right. In case you're just joining us and you're late, we are talking there to Ms. Juliette Shillingford, who is the United Workers' Party candidate for the Roseau Central Constituency. And we are focused this afternoon really on Roseau, which is the capital city for us, and some of the plans and the vision that Ms. Shillingford has for this capital city of ours. We've talked about the issue, the traffic problems, the problem of the vagrants. We've talked about the architecture of the city, and just the beautification, making it more of a livable city, and also getting people. The other area as well, that has happened. What has happened in terms of the transformation of Roseau? When we were growing up in Roseau, practically all of the businesses were locally owned. but we have now seen an exodus of locally owned businesses. Some of it having given way to some of them, to the Chinese influence and so on. But what would you do to encourage local businesses back into the city and make it once again a city where locals can actually thrive and benefit from?
So it's a struggle for small businesses. So for one thing, the rent is very high for the small businesses, and the price of land is high. So that's something. I mean, that's something that has to be explored. There's rent control. There's different ways you can explore to keep the rent cost down. But lost my train of thought.
Yes, so just in terms of the small businesses, because what you want to do is to encourage
Okay,
businesses to
right,
come
I got
back
it. So
into the city. Yeah,
walkability. There's something called
yeah.
walkability in urban planning. If people are comfortable walking in a city, they will more likely shop. They'll spend their money. They'll visit these small businesses. Because when you drive by or when you're busy heading to Astafans because you want to get what you have to get to leave, you're not even looking to see what's in the small shops, right? So from the minute we put in the public infrastructure that's needed, then the city becomes more walkable, and then the local businesses will likely benefit from that walkability.
Excellent. All right, let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon to you. Hello, good afternoon. Go ahead, please. All right, we lost the caller. You can always try your call again. The number is 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. And there's also 616-4257. Let's go to the telephones. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing?
All right, doing well. Thank you.
Yes, man, I'm really pleased with the conversation. That we really have to see Roseau improve, because Roseau right now is like a broken city.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Shillingford, I want to encourage you for coming forward and giving your time and giving yourself, and that you did not look at the victimization that is going on, but you continue to stand for truth, stand to ensure that the next generation is going to walk a path that they can become more productive. And party leader, Mr. Thompson, I really love the way that you are educating the people. Continue to do the good work. Continue to work hard, and I know that this government will be defeated. All right, thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Carl, as well. It's good view as well, and we really appreciate it. Of course, we appreciate the fact that Juliette could come in this afternoon and really talk to us about the city and about her own involvement and being a part of trying to rebuild Roseau and make it a livable city. So I like the ideas of the gardening aspect of it and so on, and just I absolutely love it. So it is good that you're able to do that, and it's great that you're here with us. It's definitely a pleasure having you. And talking about the pleasure, we have just been joined in the studio as well by Danny Luge. Of course, two powerful individuals there, Roseau North and Roseau Central. Definitely going back to this place. So it is good that we're here. And Juliette, I'm sure you would like to welcome Danny. Of course, you've been very supportive of his efforts there in Roseau North as well, and it's good. It's good to have you both there.
Absolutely. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you, Julie. Julie has a great aura. From the time I met her, I knew her, a passant. But now that I'm getting to know Julie, she's a wonderful person and a hardworking person. And I have no doubt that Roseau Central is taken.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's my pleasure to sit side by side with Julie. And amazing, Tom, the kind of help that I've gotten from Julie so far. I won't go into detail. We can't spill our secret. Right, Julie?
That's
We
right.
won't let them know. We just know that I support Julie and Julie support me. And the four Roseaus, we want to make it big this
That
time.
is it. That is it.
We
In-
occupying the
yes.
seat of power. We occupying the four Roseaus. And that is our goal. And I have no doubt that with Julie on that team, that magnificent team, you know, we will pull it through. And that's why I'm here. From the time I heard Julie voice, I said, what? Julie in studio? I
You've got
must
to
come to
and
give my
get
support.
This is excellent. This is
Yes,
excellent.
yes.
Yes. So that is great. It's great to have you, obviously, and thanks for that great endorsement of Julie. There's been a wonderful program. The people are certainly inspired by her presence, by the fact that she's offered herself for public service and she's offered to be part of Team Dominica of the United Workers' Party. I think that's also a great thing. But also, you're preparing for a by-election that should come soon. But before you do, let us take this call, and then we're going to come back to you in just a little bit. Caller, good afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. Not sure what's going on. Caller, can you hear me? All right. I'm not sure if somebody is just playing around because sometimes there's nothing. All right. Yeah. So, Danny, you know, I'm getting ready for a by-election. Yeah.
Yes,
in the
getting it.
Roseau.
As I said before, I'm confident but not complacent. Last evening, you know, I had a meeting. I won't say where it was, but we're doing our work. Clyde is with me. We're doing our work. We've had about 10 meetings, meeting the people, not public, you know, so indoors, meeting our folks, because we can't take Roseau for granted. But coming back to Julie a little bit, you know why I love Julie? She's accomplished, but her humility. We need more people like that in government. Selfless. I mean, without asking Julie to do certain things for me, she comes on as a new team player and tell me, Danny this, Danny that. I've done that for you, eh?
I'm like,
You know,
yes.
Where do you get those kinds of people? Straight from heaven. Straight from heaven, you know, and Dominica needs more selfless people, Thompson.
Absolutely.
Dominica need more selfless people. And, you know, it's a big sacrifice. You know, she's worked in the service for lots and lots of years. She could retire comfortably. But for our children's sake and our grandchildren's sake, we must do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the telephones. Okay, we seem to have lost this caller. Always you can try calling back. I know it's been difficult for some of you to reach us this afternoon, but please try. Yes, so Jolie, you know, it's good that, you know, and you have a very, very catchy slogan, Julie for the city, and that's catching on very nicely.
Moving Roseau Central forward.
All right. Okay. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Not sure what's going on. Let's try this. Good afternoon. Hello. It's bizarre. We're not hearing anything. Like what the person they're listening to the radio. Yes, good afternoon. Yes, go ahead. You're on talk on the block.
Hello.
You can go ahead. You're on talk on the block.
Yeah. Some ideas for Roseau. It is a development.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but Julie, there's a building for a bar building Roseau where slaves land down, Africans land down in this country. And we just turn it into a museum. We cannot build in that the dilapidated city. We just develop that into a museum for people to come to visit there and put a heritage center there where we can actually trace the whole history of Africans in this country. There is also the Roseau River. You don't mention up here that Roseau River. The Roseau River to me is a product that has not been utilized. They call it the Queen's River. Or we need to get a way to dam that river We were standing foot of water, maybe 4 to 5 feet to reach out at Barber State area, up to maybe the other bridge up there in Capitol, and used there for water sports, kayaking, being up that Roseau River, couple restaurant builds alongside the river that created ambiance. Parking, high-rise parking, you mentioned the meter. I think meter parking is an important part. But we need to develop high-rise parking in strategic area of the city. One of them is in the corner right there by the bridge by Windsor Park. The C-Force area, they can take a serious high-rise parking block. Even on that river, on the parking right here next to Riverside Apartments, parking can be enhanced there. Parking also on the north. The other individual mentioned that he want to turn into an arcade, but it can also be an arcade and parking for buses from the north of Dominica. The bottom part go in high rise again, in high rise parking for cars. Bottom the buses can be inside there, and your arcade down there for the vending. So and Windsor Park, that Windsor Park, Roseau Botanical Gardens should be developed into a world-class, first-class cricket ground where we can play test cricket. Windsor Park, I would devote it to football and CO and other activities. But they have to convert gardens itself into that kind of a park that you can play world-class cricket there. Also, gardens have to have what they call a zoo. Windsor Zoo, where our kids can go into the gardens and look at all the different animals that are existing in Dominica. So the whole sort of work, the work in terms of drainage systems, that is critical for the tongue and to cut out that old stench. Put in portable toilets, urinals around the tongue, to avoid people that have urinating all over the place. So it's an overall plan for the city, and I just talk about green space and creating more trees planted in the city. This is a critical point. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, caller, for these very important suggestions. And Julie's taking notes, feverishly taking notes. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon. I am calling back again. I'd like to ask Miss or Mrs. Shillingford a question. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you, why did you choose to represent your constituency on UWP ticket? Seeing that you are so humble, I know the UWP people are extremely humble too, but probably there you have some more positive reasons why you want to be a part of that move of the UWP. And I want to bless you. I want everything to work your way. But give us answer my question by telling me what is the reason that you picked or you decided to go up on United Workers' Party ticket. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller. There's no choice. I mean, it would not be on the Labour ticket for sure. The UWP, I align with a lot of the ideology, their thoughts, their approach to things. It's very much in keeping with who I am. So I feel very comfortable on this team. Yeah, it's my choice, and I am loving it.
And we thank you for making the better choice. Absolutely. Unlike some of our friends lately. Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, you're Talk on the Block. Go ahead, please. All right. I'm not sure. Sometimes they listen to them to their device and not their phones. All right. So yes, we have a few minutes left here on today's program. I know Daniel, I need to just come back to you a little bit. You have an activity coming up on tomorrow night.
Yes. Tomorrow, it's a big event. It's the second big public meeting. Will be held in Fokole on the Flat, just at the back of the Domlec building. Our team, the United Workers Party Team Dominica, will be there. We'll have about 4 or 5 local speakers who I'm sure will bring value to the team and the constituents and neighboring constituencies. We are welcoming you to the Fokole flat at 6:30 tomorrow. On Friday, we're meeting with the youth of the community of Stock Farm and other areas next to Stock Farm, where we'll have a rapport, where we'll listen, the leadership of the party will listen to the young people. A lot of time they don't get a listening ear. So we'll be listening most of all to them, interacting with them, socializing a little bit with them, not drinking alcohol to get them drunk, to get a soft drink, probably a beer, a shandy, and we'll socialize and interact and hear from them, because that's how we formulate our plans as a party. At the constituency level, I would go out there, listen to my constituents, and that's how I formulate the Roseau of plans, which will feed into the United Workers' Party national plan. So these are the two big events. On Sunday, it will be followed by a walkthrough in the Yampis area.
On Saturday.
On Saturday, sorry. Yes. Yeah. And on Sunday, I think Julie has organized some more activities for us in the Upper Goodwill area. We'll be walking the grounds, pounding the pavement. As I said, we are confident but not complacent. So it's my pleasure to work with Julie. Julie is a perfect fit. She has a great, bubbly personality. She's easy to talk to. And the residents of Roseau Central can be proud of their incoming parliamentary representative, Julie for the CT.
Absolutely. And Julie, one of the things that Danny talked about is his approach to the young people. I wanted to take a couple of minutes now and speak directly to the young people of your constituency. What would you say to the young people of Roseau South, in terms of Roseau Central, in terms of what they can expect from you when you are elected the next parliamentary representative?
So it starts, I'll answer that, but I just want to go back to a caller about 2 or 3 callers ago that came up with all these ideas. The Barracoon building, acknowledging our African ancestry, the Roseau River being there, and all these, the high-rise parking. And that just goes to say that truly the ideas are there. The community, when you speak to people, when you speak to the young people, when you connect with them one by one, simple, basic, grassroots, we're connecting. When you make that connection, that's when all the ideas come out, because the answers are there. They're with the people. And we are just there to put it all together and make sure we can implement programs and policies to make them become a reality. So to the young people of Roseau, I want to meet you too. I want to meet you door to door. I want you to not be afraid to come outside, not be afraid to talk, because I'm seeing that as I walk across. I'm seeing people staying back in their doors and they're giving you a thumbs up and waving and barely want you to make contact with them. There is fear. Victimization is real, people. It is real. And so I'm getting that. I don't care. I go into every house. As long as they'll have me, I'll come in and I'll talk to you one by one. And there will be occasions for us to speak as a group, but I love the one-on-one contact. Yeah.
Yeah, and
so I'll be coming to find you.
Yes,
I know where
indeed.
you hang out.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And give them the assurance that their futures are better placed in the hands of a United Workers' Party. Because after all, there's 26 years, a record of 26 years of a government that has really
actually it's year 27.
27
so the
years.
year end would make it 27,
because the elections were actually early in January of 2000, right? So that's a full year there. Yes.
Well, my maths seem to be a little bit than the doctor today. It will be 27 years,
Correct.
And if a government and a party cannot do it after 27 years, it's time to tell them they can't do it at all.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the themes we will be pounding on in our meeting tomorrow evening. But today is Julie. It's all about the city.
Yes.
So for one of my concerns is why are the young people leaving? They're leaving. And I'm like, for me, I always wanted to come back. I had a great t-shirt when I was around 19. It says nowhere else but Dominica. As soon as I graduated, I came back. Why are people leaving? That should not be so. We have to stay back and create the opportunities for ourselves. We can't just suffer through that brain drain. We need to stay back and focus on what can we do. Step up. What can you do? be a part of the development of the country. Like there's a role for you. There's a role for everybody out there. So let's work together to build a better Dominica.
All right, absolutely. Let's work together. And of course, working together with the Roseau Central and Roseau North Constituency. And, it's an exciting time, I think, for Dominic as well, because I believe people are beginning to see the possibilities with the United Workers' Party government and what can be done, what can be accomplished. And what's very impressive about this is that both you and Danny, you're coming with a perspective, you're coming with a plan already, to change things, to develop things, and that to me is very, very exciting.
One of the policies that the United Workers' Party, and I keep pounding it every time I come in the studio or I find a microphone, Dominica for Dominicans first. If we can't be first in our country, where will we be first? That's our policy. And when we negotiate contracts with foreign companies, there must be a healthy percentage of the work for Dominicans. We see something different happening now. You hear of international airport and mainly foreigners. We of the United Workers' Party, Team Dominica, will ensure that when we sit down with foreign entities to negotiate contracts, Dominicans will be first in your country and first for employment in your country.
Absolutely. That's a very powerful one. It's something that we stand by. We'll make sure that Dominicans are first, I would say first bite, because you cannot develop your country at the expense of your people. So, for example, we have all those major projects. You have one going on in your constituency now, the building of the Goodwill Secondary School. How many persons in Tarish or in the Cotter Village that is a stone's throw from the school? How many of them are really involved in it? And that will certainly change on the United Workers' Party. As we go back to the telephones, good afternoon to you.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah. As Danny mentioned, good afternoon, Danny.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, because as Danny mentioned about Dominicans for Dominicans with this project, I was going up to Grande yesterday, and the amount of foreigners I saw working on the Grande Road, we're talking about simple things that Dominicans used to do. Open the trench, put concrete to build a wall or a drain or whatever, and you have foreigners doing that yesterday, going up to Grande. I mean, I was appalled. And little projects like that, you see foreigners when Dominicans used to do these things. Dominicans built Dominica, and why we have to bring in foreigners for all these little projects? And we know why, because of what's really going on. I guess they overprice these projects and then kickbacks and money going into other places, because what I'm seeing there, it really doesn't make sense. And for the length of time it's taking to do that project should be done already. I think there's a lot of lingering, there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of foreigners on that project, which really should not be, because Dominicans build bridges before, Dominicans build roads before, Dominicans build drain before, Dominicans build houses before, Dominicans put up buildings before. Why are these governments doing what they're doing? Is to really just overprice these projects and money goes. Look at the bridge in Roseau, $18 million. I mean, everybody knows that's not worth $18 million. I mean, after that bridge was built, I see anything people washing the bridge on a Sunday. Right now, one of the trailers for the drain is in the river for the past 10, 11 months, or more. And nobody's doing nothing about that. The strainer that would stream, if there's water on the bridge where it would stream the leaves or the garbage that it doesn't go down, that is not there. It's in the river, and nobody's doing nothing about it. But when the bridge was built, you had the NEP workers on Sundays come in and wash the bridge. That's the extent they used to go. Right now, it's like it's a nothing. All the money that was spent for the lighting and all that, that's no more. But you hype it up, $18 million, but it is not worth $18 million. We all know that. So we understand why this government is doing what it's doing when they bring all these foreign people around. Anyway, have a good day.
All right. Thank you, caller, for that. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon. I've been listening to Juliette. Juliette, how are you?
Thank you. Good.
Kevin McKenzie.
Oh, hi, Mr. McKenzie. How are you?
All right.
I'd recognize that voice.
You recognize the voice, I just called because of all the problems with Roseau that, it's so many different, the complexities of Roseau itself need some level of discussion. And maybe one of the things I'd advise, we try to do is to see if it's possible for some type of symposium on Roseau where all different people can come in, because people have all different types of ideas. And because this is one of my main concerns with the Roseau enhancement project. With all the difficulties that Roseau faces, even we who are in the architecture fraternity have never had the opportunity to see exactly what the authorities are coming up with for this Roseau enhancement project, which is sad. So what I maybe advise, if you could, I'm going to try to put together some type of symposium where you could get, various experts, local professionals come, and even local people, because many times the local people themselves have have better ideas, practical ideas than we the professionals. So that the problems of Roseau, because Roseau has problems of pedestrian, of motor vehicles, of buildings, of empty lots, of traffic. You have the botanical gardens. Every time I drive through the botanical gardens and I see the tourists looking at the main attraction is an old bus that is under a tree crushed by Hurricane David. In how many acres of land. It hurts me. So I believe, I just want to give the humble suggestion, while you're at it and while you are aspiring to represent the city, this must be one of the things that this is maybe one of the approaches that you could take, even while you are not in government.
I think
in terms of the preparation process of trying to get, I really long to see that people could actually sit down in a room and discuss, put the problems of Roseau together and come up with the solutions that are practical, economical, and all the other adjectives that you could use in solving the problem of the city. Anyway, take care. And let me say, I think you are, how do you call it? A breath of fresh air in the political arena. And let me congratulate you for coming forward.
Thank you, Mr.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you indeed. It's Several Kenzie.
Yeah.
A breath of fresh air indeed. Yes, Danny, go ahead.
Let me just extend condolences to the family of Curtis Gorton. He was a fixture of Roseau. He's a gentleman who made leather sandals after he crossed the bridge.
Oh, Curtis, yeah, I saw him.
Curtis Gorton, yes. He passed suddenly.
What?
Yes.
He said hi to me 2 days ago. I saw him in town. He said hello to me.
What is life, eh? Why should people be even proud,
Oh my God.
Yeah, he passed to his wife and the rest of the
Yeah,
family circle, the children.
Wow.
Just like to tell you, be strong in time. God will heal your heart and he will heal your home. And Julie, my brother in Georgia, Francis, he said hello and you got his support. His
Thank you.
endorsement, Francis,
Thank
in Georgia. Plenty brothers.
Yeah, wow. Danny, I would like to extend condolences as well to him. I mean, he passed me in town. He turned around. He said, "Thompson Fountain, how you doing?" I said, and we had a little chat. That was like probably I think it was a Monday or day about. I saw him
here today.
Oh my
gone tomorrow.
goodness.
That's why we must do our best while we have the breath of life and respect each other. And Dominica can be a better place, Clyde. You believe that? Of course, Dominica can be a better place when we begin to respect each other and even as a team to work together for the relief of our people.
Yes, indeed. Yes, as we take you off, that will be your final closing remarks since we are just about out of time. Yes.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you to Mr. Mackenzie for calling in. I think it's an excellent idea to arrange a symposium just to talk about Roseau as a group of not just citizens but as professionals in the field. I think we can do a lot together. There's so much to talk about the city, so many problems that we have to deal with. It's really a complex situation, a complex system of different things playing out as he spoke, traffic, housing, sidewalks. There's a lot of things going on there. It can take a whole day. It can take 2 days just talking about Roseau. But this is just a start. I hope that I have many other opportunities to speak with you in person, in group form, on the radio, social media. We have a lot of things to talk about. So thank you very much for listening in today, and wishing you all the best for the rest of the week.
All right, thank you. Danny, closing thoughts from you as well.
Yes, make sure you with Roseau in Fokole tomorrow evening. And then on Saturday, the youth of the Stock Farm area and neighboring communities, we invite you to Stock Farm. The Team Dominica will be there. And then on Saturday, we'll be in Yampis. And I think in Yampis, our leader Thompson has a lot of constituents there. We're negotiating whether they should transfer back to Grand Forks. But that will be a tough one.
Yes, indeed.
So have a good afternoon. It was a pleasure joining Julie. I had to come in to give her my full endorsement and support.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, and thank you as well, Julie and Danny, and to all of you that called in with your comments, those who made comments as well via our Facebook page. We see many persons on the live this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Talk on the Block. Until then, have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.